First major snowstorm of the season is making travel difficult throughout the north-central United States. This is the busiest travel day of the year in the U.S. as people prepare for the American Thanksgiving holiday. More than 20 million people are expected to drive, fly, or take the train to be with their families for the break. In several states, snow and ice have made for dangerous driving conditions. Several multi-car pileups have been reported, including this one near Salt Lake City, Utah, which involved 36 cars and trucks. Stay tuned. Your local forecast is next.
Now on the Weather Network, your detailed local report. Coming up in 1 minute from now, it's information for travelers with forecasts for tomorrow for major cities across North America. You're watching the Weather Network, your round-the-clock source for information about weather and the environment.
Coming up next on the Weather Network, information for travelers. And this Traveler's Report is brought to you by Panama City Beach, Florida's affordable sunshine. Here's Gary Ryan.
Thanks, Lila. Let's have a look at our disturbance. This is the one right now we're talking about. Keep in mind there's heavy snowfall warnings in effect for eastern areas of the Maritimes, and also Newfoundland's involved in that. Tomorrow you may still see scattered flurries in parts of Newfoundland. Northerly winds already, northwesterly winds are going to continue to gust at about 30 to 50 again for tomorrow. Down on the eastern seaboard, some disturbances affecting parts of the Carolinas, parts of Florida being affected. This cold front extending back through Texas is also giving a little bit of instability. We have a little weak system that's been bringing some light snow to southern Saskatchewan today, partly into southern Manitoba too. It's just going to sort of hang there for a while. Clear skies in the desert states out into California too, and we have a heavy snowfall warning in northern BC and also a wind warning in effect. Southeasterlies gusting 60 to 90 kilometers an hour. If you're traveling to Atlantic Canada tomorrow, cloudy, windy, and cold conditions are forecast for Newfoundland. Mainly sunny skies are expected in New Brunswick, while clearing skies are forecast for Nova Scotia. Southern Ontario will be mainly sunny on Thursday, but it will be very windy in southwestern regions of the province. Temperatures will remain on the cool side. In southern Quebec, skies will be mainly clear. Most regions of the prairies will enjoy mainly sunny conditions tomorrow. A slight warming trend is in store, but temperatures will remain well below seasonal norms. A few cloudy periods are forecast for Vancouver. A mix of sun and cloud is forecast for the northeastern U.S. on Thursday. It will be cool. South of the Great Lakes, the Chicago region will see cloudy skies and some rain during the evening hours. Southern Florida will be under mainly cloudy skies tomorrow. A few showers are also forecast. Elsewhere in the American Southeast, skies will be mainly sunny, but cloudy skies and a chance of showers are forecast for Texas. A large ridge of high pressure will bring mainly clear skies to most of California and the desert states on Thursday. Snow flurries are expected in most of the Rocky Mountain states. If you're traveling to the Hawaiian Islands on Thursday, we're calling for mainly clear skies and temperatures in the upper 20s, but there is a chance of some morning showers in most areas. If you're heading to Mexico on Thursday, most of the popular destination sites will see mainly clear skies and seasonably hot temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s. Mexico City will be a little cooler. And finally, if you're traveling to the Caribbean on Thursday, a large ridge of high pressure will bring mainly clear skies to most of the islands. Temperatures will be seasonably hot. Have yourself a safe and enjoyable trip.
If you've been dreaming of a winter in Florida, but you're afraid you might not be able to afford it this year, discover the other Florida, Panama City Beach, Florida. Panama City Beach, miles closer and twice as affordable. Famous for its sugar white sand and crystal clear water, Panama City Beach is uncongested, surprisingly affordable, and most importantly, warm and beautiful all year long. Call for more information today. 1-800-553-1330.
Here's the Weather Network's local report, including the conditions reported in your region over the past hour. It also includes your short-term and long-range forecast. In designated areas where air quality samples are taken, our report also includes those observations. The second line of each listing shows the major pollutant. The reports are provided by the Provincial Ministry of the Environment. It's part of the environmental and weather information you can find 24 hours a day, only on the Weather Network.
You're watching the Weather Network, covering weather and environmental issues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, exclusively on cable.
Welcome to Earthwatch. I'm Lila Feng. Just ahead, acid rain and global warming. But first, officials in Daytona, Florida are concerned over renewed beach erosion and the threat of severe weather along the coast.
The barricade says do not enter. There used to be a fence here. It was washed away. Soon it may be the park. But today it's the boardwalk that's at risk of collapsing. Signs of erosion are visible everywhere. Even these bricks tell a story. These bricks are fighting the erosion. They're from a hotel that was supposed to be built back in the 1920s. In the 1980s, the materials from the hotel were buried here. Now they're being unearthed, and they're actually helping to save the park. From Ponce Inlet to Port Orange, the effects of the weather are felt.
The weather was pretty nasty. We had to come in about 2 days early. We wanted to stay up till about Tuesday or Wednesday to get the fish to the market. But all the boats had to come back in because of the low pressure system off of Florida. We're coming in on 20-foot seas.
Some fishermen have been docked for a week, anticipating the bad weather.
It's just unfishable, and it's unsafe, and it's not worth trying to go fishing in.
No fishing, no income.
It's a feast and famine occupation. You catch them, you make money. You don't catch them, you don't make any money.
Acid rain and global warming are on the short list of worldwide environmental concerns. Now a Stockholm University professor says the two may be canceling each other out.
Acid rain is ruining our lakes, buildings, and trees, but it may also be reversing global warming. Studies have shown that the tiny airborne acidic particles, known as acid aerosols, may protect us from the greenhouse effect.
Aerosols are tiny particles that either are emitted into the atmosphere by industrial processes, say, or they are formed in the atmosphere by gases that we emit into the atmosphere.
These cause acid rain, but they also cause the smoggy haze of summer days in the city, and this haze may be keeping us cooler.
The basic idea is that these aerosol particles, they reflect some of the sunlight back to space. So thereby you lose some of the light that would otherwise have penetrated down to the surface will go back to space. That will cool the surface.
Global warming, or the greenhouse effect, is caused by pollutants that form a layer around the Earth's atmosphere, keeping the heat in. But with another layer of acid aerosols reflecting back the heat, we may end up with less global warming.
In the northern hemisphere, we think that maybe as much as half or a third or so of the greenhouse effect might have been balanced by these aerosols up to now.
Unfortunately, this ironic benefit of acid aerosols only occurs in industrialized regions. The greenhouse effect is unchanged in other parts of the world, so the benefit is limited. Rhoda also says that the damage caused by acid aerosols far outweighs any benefits. For the Weather Network, I'm Christine Crosby in Toronto.
That's it for this edition of Earthwatch. I'm Lila Feng. Stay with us. We've got more news in 30 minutes. Local weather in 30 seconds.
November 24th. On this day in 1989, an intense winter storm that developed off the coast of Nova Scotia moved north, battering Newfoundland with strong winds and snow. Some highways in western Newfoundland were impassable because of snow and blowing snow. 27 centimeters of snow fell at Deer Lake. Winds at Twillingate were recorded at 165 kilometers an hour. The winds at high tide meant flooding in some outports along the eastern shore. The severe storm hit Newfoundland November 24th, 1989.
This Weather Network local report includes the latest observations in your area, and it also includes the short-term and long-range forecast. If you see or experience unusual weather conditions, we'd like to hear details. Calls to our Storm Tracker line are toll-free. The number is 1-800-463-WIND. That's 1-800-463-9463. The number is only to report unusual weather conditions. You're watching the Weather Network.
Time now for our regional forecast on the Weather Network. You can expect cloudy skies and snow flurries in most of Atlantic Canada tonight. Up to 20 centimeters is possible in parts of Nova Scotia and PEI, but a clearing trend will follow. Southern Ontario and Quebec will see clearing skies but cooler temperatures. The prairies and southern BC can expect mainly clear skies, but temperatures will continue to be well below seasonal. Now with all the details, here's Gary Ryan.
Thank you very much, Lila. Let's have a look at what we're dealing with here. Still getting a lot of snowy conditions. The winds seem to be a real problem. Gusty winds causing a lot of drifting and blowing snow in some circumstances, along with the fact that, of course, we have the heavy snowfall warning in effect for Eastern Shore and Central Nova Scotia, Minor Shore, Northern Nova Scotia, also Cape Breton, PEI, and the Magdalen Islands involved in this. Some snow could get up to about 20 centimeters in some areas. Snow, blowing snow, the whole shebang. Back in Ontario, we go to see a little bit of low cloud hanging around, but a clearing trend is expected to continue for you tonight. We may see tomorrow, though, increasing cloudiness again. We still have this disturbance in southern areas, but the advisory for snow in southern areas of Saskatchewan is over now. We have still got some active weather conditions that are going to persist throughout tonight and into tomorrow along the coastal regions of BC, where we have southeasterly winds gusting 60 to 90 with a wind warning, and we could see 30 centimeters of snow with a heavy snowfall warning for the north coast inland areas, and maybe some freezing rain to go along with that.
Here are forecasts for some specific centers in your region. This report covers 2 time periods for each center. The first is the next 6 hours. The second forecast for the same sites covers the next 12 hours.
Here's the Weather Network's local report, including the conditions reported in your region over the past hour. It also includes your short-term and long-range forecast. In designated areas where air quality samples are taken, our report includes the latest observations. The second line of each listing shows the major pollutant. These reports are provided by the Provincial Ministry of the Environment. Stay tuned. Next is a look at the weather systems affecting your weather over the next 5 days.
Coming up next on the Weather Network, our long-range forecast. We'll have a look ahead at the conditions and temperatures you can expect through the coming weekend. Here's Gary Ryan.
Thank you. Let's have a look at Friday. To start us off, Big H right here continues to bring some high pressure and some sunshine to Atlantic Canada. There's also our little warm front in southwestern Ontario with some showers that are trying to edge their way in by the end of the week. Some scattered flurries. We're going to keep an eye on this little scenario right here because it may start to influence regions of northwestern Ontario. Still seeing that word cold despite the sunshine, and not a lot of active weather is expected across the prairies. We do have, though, a system with some showers and a little bit of a weak trough along the coast of British Columbia and affecting the Queen Charlotte's, Prince Rupert area, for example. It will be, looks like rain at least instead of some snow, such as we have currently in the forecast for areas further to the north. But this whole trough is continuing to work its way a little bit further south. We'll show you that in just a second or so. Still some light snow in areas around Fort Frances, we were saying, may be affected over toward the Sioux, too, with this little bit of a trough that's sort of hanging back from the low-pressure system. Southern Ontario, though, seeing more showery conditions associated with that, and high pressure is going to continue right there over the Maritimes and the Gulf of St. Lawrence areas through Saturday. Some scattered flurries may return by the end of the weekend with the influence of two approaching disturbances. The one to the north, some scattered flurries onshore, showers continuing in the Maritimes, and still trying out of Ontario, as eastern Ontario still sees some showery conditions there. Weak little trough may start to influence Soo-Algoma regions too. Cold front, high pressure continuing, no real major disturbances still across the prairies or even out to British Columbia until we run out to the coast there and find that little bit of a weak system working down toward Vancouver and Victoria with some showers by the end of the weekend. Temperature 0 to 5 degrees, 0s to -5s, -5s to -10s under some circumstances. Still getting some milder conditions, and it's going to continue to widen that band of milder condition out into the western too, and we find ourselves getting above 5 degrees in the east and the west.
Every year, take your children to the eye specialist. You'll be reassured, or the doctor will prescribe lenses for them. Whatever the problem, SLR's corrective lenses fit a wide selection of frames in every color. And for the toughest of the tough, choose the Durables lenses or polycarbonate safety glasses. Starting at the age of 3, have your children's eyes checked regularly. Advice from SLR, Vision World Leader.
This Weather Network local report features the conditions observed in this area during the past hour. It also includes both the short-term and long-range forecast. If an official weather warning is issued for this area, it's broadcast immediately on the Weather Network. Your TV screen will turn completely red, and an alarm will sound as the text of the warning appears. It's a public safety feature of the Weather Network.
Planning to do something outdoors? This forecast covers the next 12 hours with a list of outdoor events from Canada's Weather Network.
If you're planning some outdoor activities, let's take a look at some conditions for you. There is a disturbance that is still bringing snow to areas of Atlantic Canada. In Ontario, some drizzly conditions in the south. That is going to be clearing out for you. Cold, though, up into northern Ontario. Some snow, but continuing cold, too, across areas of the prairies out in British Columbia. Very strong winds and heavy snows along the northern coastal areas.
watching the Weather Network, covering weather and environmental issues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, exclusively on cable.
Welcome to the Weather Network. I'm Lila Feng. We'll have a look at the national weather forecast in just a moment. But first, the cold snap continues in Western Canada. Temperatures have been 10 to 20 degrees below normal since Sunday throughout the west. Although conditions have warmed up slightly since the weekend, temperatures remain well below seasonal levels. Icy roads have created dangerous driving conditions in many areas. The cold weather has been the result of a massive northerly flow from the Arctic. The cold weather is affecting areas from southern British Columbia into northern Ontario and Quebec. In Alberta, the Arctic chill has almost doubled the price for natural gas. Prices began rising last week in anticipation of the colder weather.